Hello there, and welcome to lesson 4. This is on the story of creation, and it falls under the unit of Christian beliefs. I'd just like to thank Mrs. Murray for giving me the time and the content so I am able to deliver these lessons to you. And secondly, I'd like to point out as well that on the platform that is Show My Homework, as well as a hyperlink to this YouTube clip, you can also find an attached document which will have everything you need on the creation story. It will also give you some activities that I would like you please to do, as well as I'd like you to copy the key terms from this. It's not a huge amount of work, so no worries. Okay, so the creation story. The creation story, I want to begin with something from John's Gospel. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Rather abstract. And I'm going to unpack that. In the beginning was the Word, nothing but the Word, and the Word was God. So it tells us who that Word is. In the beginning, there was light. There was nothing, and then there was light, and there was God. And the Word became flesh. Now, who do you think that fleshy individual represents? Of course, the incarnation of God is indeed Jesus. So it tells us that actually that God, Jesus, there is, if you like, a bit of a link, just a little bit, in that we've done the story of the Trinity and we know that they are one of the same. Christians believe, incidentally, that the world was created in 6 days and then God rested on the seventh. There are various interpretations of this story. Some people believe that this was literally how it happened, and actually, in that respect, the Bible should be seen, or is almost perhaps as like a scientific textbook that essentially alludes to the absolute truth. These Christians are known as fundamentalists. There are problems with this position because, of course, evolution slightly contradicts the whole notion of God creating the world in 6 days. And that evolution dictates actually that things have evolved in very slowly over millions and billions of years, and incremental little changes. So we can't have both. So a fundamentalist does find himself in a rather problematic position when it comes to justifying the existence of, for example, dinosaur bones. However, there are also those Christians who are more liberal in their approach, and that is to say, rather, that perhaps God is using evolution perhaps as a vehicle in order to create, therefore not, and certainly not denying the process of evolution, but rather God is using it as something in order to create the world as we know it today. Other Christians believe perhaps that there is a mistranslation in that the word day, which was the Bible was originally, one of its original language was Hebrew, and it's subsequently been translated into English. The original Hebrew yom has been taken to mean and translated to mean day. That perhaps might be an error, in the sense that if it was taken to mean era or period of time, which yom perhaps more loosely translates to, more so than day, then you can incorporate evolution in an understanding of how the world was created. Either way, you're left with a position where you accept God as the prime mover. Christians are without doubt believe that God is the manufacturer, is the creator of the world. It says, for example, in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 to 3, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the water. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. Essentially, all Christians subscribe to the notion that God is responsible. What happens after that? Indeed, Christians are divided. In fact, Charles Darwin, he didn't have a problem with the process and how things have unfolded in terms of his evolutionary process in his book Origins of the Species. But Darwin himself had a problem with what was the prime mover, and perhaps may have conceded that there may need to be a divine being. We're not there, we don't know. But all Christians believe ultimately that God created the world, whether that be in 6 days, whether that be a metaphor. They're divided. Okay, we are there, I believe. So make sure, please, that you take a photo of your work. You've written down your key terms, do the activities, and you make a note of the narrative that you've just received. Take a picture of your work. Please email it and over to me. Thank you.